Hello and welcome back to this video lecture series on nursing informatics on YouTube. There's a separate playlist for nursing informatics under my um, discussions, so please feel free to subscribe and like and share to others who needs this. In this video lecture series, or in this discussion, we are going to talk about the different benefits and applications of nursing informatics in healthcare. Okay, so let's start. So benefit number one, okay, nursing informatics informs and influences information technology systems. So here, NI or nursing informatics help move healthcare away from paper forms into electronic ones. Okay, so we have the electronic health records, electronic medical records, charts, everything, even medications, referral papers from one department to another, all are electronic. Okay, instead of the use of papers, which we know some countries or more countries are still using compared to the more developed countries. Okay, so EHR systems or electronic health record systems, workflows, and even decisions are more informed and efficient with the use of nursing informatics. And nursing informatics specialists are trilingual, meaning they can perform these three functions. One is, or they have the skill, they have the capability of doing this or having this characteristics. One is they understand the clinical language of efficient patient care. So this means that nurses can play is very important, especially if you're a nurse informaticist. It is important in the function, in the process, in the works of a nurse or in a clinical setting, and you are going to translate it into technology, or you are going to apply technology in the performance or in the practice of nursing in the clinical setting. Then second, they translate knowledge and clinical clinician feedback into the technical language of business analysts and programmers. Okay, so they are also helping. Of course, they have the knowledge, they have the foundation, they have the theory, they have even the practice, nurses, and they are going to collaborate with information scientists, information technologists, programmers to apply the different languages, clinical languages of nursing into technology. Okay, then third, they communicate clinical and technical matters with administrative leadership. Okay, so they are the focal person, the point of information when it comes to clinical and technical matters. So they mediate. Okay? A nurse informaticist will mediate clinical practice, clinical language, and technology practice or application and technical language or matters. So that's benefit number one. Nursing informatics informs and influences the IT systems. Okay, so this is commonly seen with the use of electronic health records and electronic medical records and the paperless transactions inside the facility or the hospital. Then benefit number two, nursing informatics leverages evidence-based clinical best practices. So this is in line with research. Okay, so this, as we all know, research is very important in our profession. So there are four explanations to this benefit. One is researching clinical nursing practice outside of their own experiences. Second, finding evidence to prove which clinical practices are the best. Okay, so with with the help or with the assistance or with the presence of nursing informatics, you can identify this. Okay, the best practices, the clinical nursing practices that is best also from other institutions. This is done through researchers, and because of this, you'll have lots of basis, lots of benchmarking to do, and resources, and you can somehow replicate it in your own institution. Okay, the best practices of others. And number three, influencing the design of clinical systems to support and promote the best evidence-based practices and workflows. Okay, so knowing the different best practices, the different best evidence-based practices also from resources, from other institutions, replicating it, you can, meaning you can adopt it to practice in your own institution, and you can also translate it into nursing informatics or technology, okay, which will really give you the best outcome so far of your nursing practice. Okay. Then fourth, training other nurses to use clinical technology systems or information technology systems. Okay, so that is very important also. So most clinicians want to apply their knowledge and experience, okay, to improve patient care. That's the one of the main goals or the best outcomes of nursing informatics application in a clinical setting. It is believed that it will improve patient care, and the nurse informaticist takes it a few steps further by doing this four roles. Okay, researching, finding evidence to prove clinical practices or best practices, best clinical practices. The nurse informaticist also influence the design of the different systems in terms of the workflow, in terms of the different processes inside the institution. For example, this means that every action, okay, every procedure, there should be steps to follow, and these steps would be the standards or the operating standard procedure inside the institution. These are the steps to follow, so it will be systematized, it can be translated into technology, okay, and you can present this as your workflows. This would also bring better work traffic in your institution. Then number four, you are going to train, okay, other nurses also to use clinical information technology systems. So aside from you, especially if you're alone, you're the only nurse informaticist, of course you need a team that will also support the implementation, who will also carry out, okay, the policies in terms of nursing informatics. Okay, so you need to train other nurses. Okay. Then third, nursing informatics generates stronger nurse training in clinical IT systems. So nursing informatics specialists are well suited to teach other nurses how to get the full benefits of the systems. Okay. Of course, because in some cases, nursing or nurse informaticists help design, okay, and create the systems. Okay, as I've mentioned earlier, okay, you're the mediator between clinical practice and technology. You're the person responsible for translating the nursing practice, nursing policies in your institution into technology, into informatics, nursing informatics, into a system that everybody would follow in your institution. Okay, but at the very least, the nursing informaticists also understand the reasons from a nursing care perspective. Okay, that's what's important. Okay, for the structure of each digital form, each sequence in the procedure. Okay, as I've said, instead of doing it in actual, you're using already technology. For example, a nurse is a patient is ordered to have or is ordered of a medication. Okay, so instead of you, a nurse who will really just bring it to the pharmacy, you just enter it to the computer, and the pharmacy in your institution has also a computer, so he or she or the pharmacist will receive the request for medication. Or in other scenarios, uh, um, laboratory request, laboratory procedure request. So again, aside from the instead, I should say, instead walking towards the laboratory, you are going to use a computer. You are going to use the system. Okay, in your computer, you are going to send your request. Clicks away, type maybe the patient's name, information, diagnosis, doctors who ordered it, and one click away, one press away, the request is already in the laboratory. Okay, so that's one of the applications here. And also, for example, nursing care plans. Okay, so instead of manually really reading your books, don't get me wrong, that's important, but of course, as I have discussed in my previous um, videos, nursing informatics is for automation also. So efficient work. So you just type in your patient's signs and symptoms, your assessment, and one press away, you may have your nursing diagnosis or list of nursing diagnosis, and you have a list of nursing care plans computerized. Okay, and one click away, you have already your chart, paperless chart. Okay, so this is the benefit of being a nurse that is also inclined in nursing informatics. Okay, so you can contribute to both fields, clinical setting and also on the technological side. Okay, and for the structure of every digital form of what is before with paper, you're going to transform into technology, into digital format. Okay, no paper for lab requests, no paper for pharmacy requests, no paper for supply requests, no paper for charts. Okay, all paperless, all digital. Okay, so yes, so you as a nursing informatics, informaticist, you're very important in the development of those systems. Okay. And fourth, nursing informatics leverages IT investments. Okay, so every health facility, from a physician, from a clinic, from single clinic or a single doctor, into a large hospitals, to large training hospitals, investment is very important. Okay, so when you say investment, you need, of course, money, you need budget, okay, you need financial allocation. It is very important, it's very essential, okay, to um, health information technology products and services. Okay, so when you say investment, there are equipment, there are supplies to buy. That's why I was referring to money earlier. And we know that this electronic ones, especially we're talking about technology, we're these computers, whether hardware and even computer softwares, they are all um, with cost. Okay, so you need to invest, you need to really allocate amount of money. Okay, whether you are a single doctor clinic or a very large institution. Okay, so yes, and nurse informaticists help get maximum value from these investments in at least three ways. First is they ensure that systems are designed to support effective patient care workflows. Okay, so as a nurse informaticist, which is inclined to nursing and also in technology or IT, you're the best person. You should be the best person to really um, present. Okay, if the systems, if the equipment, if the supplies related is really the best ones, the best designs, okay, to have a better workflow, okay, and a better patient care. And second, as a nurse informaticist, you can help train other nurses to use technology efficiently. Okay. Then third, nursing informaticist, you apply advanced analytics strategies to develop predictive models. So it means that you are going to apply the concept of analysis in terms of your workflow, okay, in the actual setting and in what is written in your manuals. For example, what is written in your standard operating procedures, you are going to translate into to digital format. Okay, and of course you are going to train nurses, you are going to train staff and personnel who will be contributory to the implementation of these systems. Okay, of course you are going to use tools, softwares, and again, these are very costly. Okay, these are very expensive. Okay, so again, as a nursing informaticist, you're the best person to really present, okay, the value or the importance of having this tools, having this equipment, software to your administration. Okay, so for example, uh, tools to identify the risk of sepsis, tools to identify the risk for palliative care, for readmission of patients. So everything has a system. Okay. Then benefit number five, nursing informatics contributes to unique wisdom to clinical care that is acquired only through a deep understanding of both clinical practice and data analysis or technology. Okay. As a nursing informaticist, okay, you identify the key areas where studies identify where problems arise. Okay, so because as I have mentioned earlier, you have the wisdom already, especially if you're a an expert in your field. You have developed that wisdom, you have gained that wisdom, and when you say wisdom, you can somehow um, predict what happens in a certain process, in a certain scenario. Okay, you are familiar or you have the mastery of the different procedures. Okay, and with that wisdom that you have, okay, you can understand both clinical practice and data analysis. Okay, and you can translate this again into nursing informatics or informatics to technology. Okay, so examples here are inadequate discharge education, a patient doesn't have support at home, poor hearing or sight, or being on multiple medications. Okay, so because of this, you can add this wisdom, technological or data analysis, and your clinical practice into nursing informatics, which again will give you, okay, very important improvement in patient safety, okay, by reducing such problems, okay, reducing discrepancies or scenarios that will give to another problems. Okay? And that is very, very important because our target here is patient outcome or better patient care. Okay? So again, wisdom is still important in the um, this is in the understanding of both clinical practice and data analysis. And number 6, nursing informatics enriches the evolving healthcare delivery system. Okay, it enriches, it improves, okay, it enhances your healthcare delivery system in our place. Again, as I mentioned earlier, not all countries, especially in our region, is really into um, informatics when it comes to healthcare. Okay, there are only some hospitals, especially in the Western countries. Okay, but there are also some in the Asian countries that is ahead from other Asian countries and really are practicing nursing informatics or informatics in general. Okay, so meaning they are advanced in healthcare technology, um, um, and it's giving a very efficient um, effect, okay, or impact to the healthcare system. For example, I know one hospital in one country, their ambulance have GPS. Okay, so you would track, okay, where is the hospital, and they also have electronic health records and other electronic or softwares that really enhances, that really gives efficiency to their nursing work. Okay. So advances in healthcare technology launch new options for healthcare delivery. Examples: letter A, communication technology using smartphones. Okay, and letter B, remote healthcare or your telehealth. Okay, so these two, you can actually um, use these two developments. Okay, you can have telehealth in your smartphones. So telehealth, regarding the growing field of telehealth, patients are receiving education, receiving checkups, self-management, trainings, um, what else? Medical data, seeing professional healthcare workers, for example, doctors, even they are far from the professional, even uh, the distance present. Okay, so even you are from the other side of the world or from the other parts of the country, other parts of the town, okay, for as long as you have these advancements, these developments, smartphones, laptops, computers, internet, and of course with the software for telehealth, you can perform this. Okay, and as a nurse informatics specialist, you help design and implement telehealth systems as well. Okay, and also you can assist uh, your physician, and right now, if you're aware, virtual assistants in the healthcare system are also present. Okay, and in fact, Philippines is one of the producers of virtual assistants in health. Okay, so the doctor is in, or the facility, the doctor is in, for example, in US, and you're working here in the Philippines, okay, as a virtual assistant, and you do the task of a nurse care virtually. Okay, you send it to the system, you send by email, the doctor replies, the patient replies. Okay, so that's how the healthcare um, digitally is now. Okay, so that's enriching the healthcare delivery system. Okay, then number 7, informatics improves patient care, patient safety, and outcomes. I have, as I mentioned repeatedly, this is the of course one of the main concerns, one of the main effects of nursing informatics: improvement in patient care, safety, and outcome. So listed here in this presentation are some, okay, of the improvements in patient care and safety. Okay, so we have more efficient electronic health records. This is in already, let's say, gradually absence or decreasing the use of paper, better information technology systems with the softwares in the hospitals. Okay, research and application of clinical best practices, as I've mentioned. And once you have research and clinical best practice of one facility to another facility, and you try to adapt it, you try to replicate it in your own institution, you can do that. Training of other nurses, as I mentioned, so that many or several nurses can also perform informatics technologies, applied technologies. Analytics-based predictive models, as I've meant, as an expert both in your clinical practice and in technology, translation languages. It is very important that you are already wise in terms of these fields and be able to transform it into your systems. Okay. Then, of course, as I mentioned, there are advancements in patient education. Um, you don't need to personally be or physically be present um, to have these services, or to as a nurse, in the point of view as of a nurse, you don't need to be in front of your patient, okay, physically present to your patient to also give services. Then support for telehealth technology, and patients benefit from nursing informatics, fewer medical errors. This is the result of better patient outcomes and safety. Okay, more informed clinical decision making. Okay, shorter hospital length of stay, or the effort of seeing your doctor physically, okay, is also reduced because of the presence of telehealth. Lower admission and remission rates because of better care plans, better management of doctors in that certain level. And of course, as a patient, because you're already guided by technology or guided by informatics, you can also have better self-management, and you have the higher chances of lesser dependence on your health professionals. Okay, so those are the benefits of nursing informatics. Okay, so next we proceed to how or what are the ways informatics is transforming the healthcare. So you may notice that there are some similarities, but of course there are also differences. So first, dramatic savings. Um, as we all know, healthcare is expensive, especially nowadays, and these expenses are associated with more traditional methods of sharing information, delays in care, yes, errors in care or delivery, okay, and electronic and connected system in place, or the investments in technology may, may lead to less expense of healthcare, okay, because there will be less errors. There are better management, just like what I've mentioned in the different benefits. Okay, so this can lead to less expense, especially in both on the side of the facility or the institution, and on the side also of the patient. Okay, what else? As an example, also I know one hospital. Once you, for example, you went for laboratory or diagnostics imaging, you don't have to wait too long for the results. You can go home. Then by technology, they just can send you a link to their website and or to their database. Just click a link and you can download the results of your laboratories, your diagnostics. And again, that would uh, lead to lesser expense. For example, on the part of the institution, no paper already to spend, okay, even though that's single paper only, no inks to spend. What else? On the part of the patient, you don't have to go back, okay, to the hospital. Maybe you're commuting, so lesser fear, lesser effort. Okay. So what else? So it's more efficient. Okay. And in terms of benefits, uh, it can lead to reduce malpractice claims, errors in insurances. Malpractice in insurances are lessened because of the use of more accurate, okay? Of course, you need to input accurate information. So to have accurate uh, results, accurate outputs also. Okay? Health informatics, as we have mentioned, reduces errors and increases communication. Okay? And just like what I have experienced right now, although it's not that having having a formal software, but you can use your different messaging applications right now, and somehow you're like doing telehealth, okay? So increases communication and really produces efficiency, okay? Where before there was costly incompetence and also problems or errors. And second, way that nursing informatics changes our healthcare is shared knowledge. Okay? So nursing informatics provide a way of knowledge about patients, the diseases, the therapies, the medicines, and the like to be more easily shared. The practice of medicines gets better, or the practice of medicine, it's a field, okay, gets better. But one thing that I am emphasizing here is um, screen, okay, your sources. Be sure that your sources are really reliable and accurate. Okay, that's one of the downside though. Uh, the Although we want a lesser dependence on physicians, but they become too okay uh, over what's it too and over dependent on themselves and the researches that they do in internet. Okay, and as knowledge is more readily passed to and fro, or from the internet to you, um, or even through telehealth from providers to patients, okay, the practice of medicine gets better, and that aids everyone, okay, the healthcare and the patient, and the chain of care, okay, from hospital to physicians to nurses, pharmacists, and even to the patients. So everyone is assisted, everyone is facilitated, everyone is aided because of the presence of technology. Okay, and everybody becomes knowledgeable. Okay, because of nursing informatics, patient participation. So we having nursing informatics, it is believed that patient participation increases. Okay, and patients have electronic access to their own health history and recommendations. First, it empowers them to take their role in their own healthcare more seriously. That's what I meant by less dependence, okay, on healthcare professionals, and putting health in your own hands. Okay, meaning you are taking responsibility, okay, of your own health also. But of course, you should be knowledgeable when to contact your healthcare workers. Then second, able to educate themselves because of the presence of many information. Okay. Third, also able to interact with doctors and nurses more easily because of the presence of technology. Okay. Again, example is telehealth, or for example, are the helplines. If not telehealth, we have these hotlines Some institutions usually call this as helplines, support lines. Okay, they give contact numbers and just dial it, call it, and there are nurses, there are healthcare professionals who will be helping you, okay, with such health problems or concerns. When patients have electronic access to their own health history, of course, it empowers them to take their role, to take responsibility more seriously. And patients who have access to care protocols are able to educate themselves, okay, about their own health, about their problem, their health concerns, and you can also track your own progression, okay, because of these technologies and because of the access, your access to your own health records. And you'll be interacting more to nurses and doctors, which leads to better outcomes also. Okay. Um, of course, because of informatics, you will feel that you are more valuable, okay, because you can contribute to your own health. And fourth, the impersonalization of care. Okay, so one um, um, one criticism of approaching patient care through information technology is that care is becoming less and less personal. So meaning it becomes, although it becomes what's this, more professional, and you can um, give, okay, the best care. Okay, the job of knowing the patient is replaced by the data, more efficient algorithms, okay, or procedures. Okay, having a valid and accurate record that the patient and his care providers can access remains vital. Okay, as data is gathered regarding a patient, algorithms, the procedures um, can be used to sort it in order to deter, okay, what is wrong and what care should be offered to the patient. Just like what I've been mentioning earlier, um, you just assess the patient accurately, of course, enter these assessments, click, and you have a list of possible nursing diagnosis or even medical diagnosis, and list of plan of care, okay, and you will be giving more professional care, okay, more professional care. It does not mean in this discussion that you're not going to give care anymore, okay, to your patient. Remember, if you still remember the theory of Dr. Laksin about technological care, okay, you can uh, be efficient in your care if you know how to use technology, as according to his theory, and that's one application here. Okay, and uh, this the use of algorithms, the use of informatics remains to be seen. That that data-driven approach is getting less personal, but having a more valid and accurate record and more accurate management to your patient. Okay, and this is more important. Okay, rather than thinking of the more personal ones. Okay. Then fifth, we have increased coordination. Okay, so healthcare is getting more and more specialized, which means most patients receive care from as many as dozen different people in one hospital stay. So when you say increased coordination, it's like somehow synonymous with collaboration of one department to another, one healthcare professional to another. Example, doctor to pharmacist to nutritionist to the radiologist, okay, and other members of the health field, the nurse, of course, okay. So what's this? The increase in specialists requires an increase also in coordination or collaboration, and it's help for informatics that provides the way forward. Um, for example, of course, when a patient is admitted in hospital, he has many concerns, what's this? Um, let's say problem or issues to resolve, to treat. For example, medicines, laboratories, the diet, diagnostics, even from admission to discharge instructions. So it's like you can say maybe it's overwhelming. Okay, that many different statements from different people, exchange of information can happen to a single patient. Okay, so it's like one patient, team approach will happen. Okay, but of course, it is important that collaboration is happening within the team and the patient. Okay? And informatics, okay, is making the necessary coordination possible also, okay, or collaboration um, possible. Then sixth, I think this is the last one for the ways improve outcomes. It's like in the benefits, improve patient outcomes, safety. The most important way in which informatics is changing the healthcare is improve patient outcomes, and it gives to higher quality patient care and safer patient care as well. The most important way in which informatics is changing healthcare is in improve outcomes. Okay, EMR or EHRs, electronic medical records or electronic health records, in higher quality care and safer care as coordinated teams provide better diagnosis and decrease the chance of errors. Okay, those some of the results. Okay, lesser errors, better diagnosis, and doctors and nurses are able to increase efficiency of their work also, which can also be time efficient. Okay, and also less stress to patients. Okay, less efforts to patients. Okay, and also previous manual performance of a job can become or task can already become automated. It's like what I've said, digital. Okay, request. Okay, instead of manually writing the request, the lab request with a pen and paper, you just type it and click, then it's already sent. Okay, it's already sent in the laboratory or department of whatever it is intended to be. Okay, so when you say automation, you save time, you save money, you save effort. Okay, not only for the hospital but also for the patient themselves and other institutions. Okay, so um, information technology or informatics really is very important nowadays, and we hope one day, if not all, maybe most of the hospitals in certain country will really adopt and practice nursing informatics. So in this case, we're talking about clinical settings, we're talking about hospital settings, we're talking about telehealth, doctors, and for the next presentation, we'll talk about applications of nursing informatics in the nursing field. So the goal of nursing informatics, as we all know, is to improve the health of the population, the families, the individual, and from this, the other fields of nursing are also affected by nursing informatics. Okay? And nursing informatics has become well established, especially in the other countries, in the Western countries, since it is recognized as a specialty for nurses. by the American Nurses Association in 1992. Okay, so in our field in nursing, we are going to discuss this into the four different fields of nursing. First is on nursing practice. Okay, so application of nursing informatics. The work list reminds the staff of planned nursing interventions, just like what I've mentioned. You may have lesser chances, lesser effort of going to your books, flipping pages, okay, looking for the objectives or the assessment, the data part, and you're going to formulate manually, okay, care plans. But because of nursing informatics, you can have already your database, okay, then click it, type it, click it, press enter, voila, you have your nursing interventions. Then computer generated client documentation. Okay, so in your charting, again, no manual writing in the charting because you already have a list of documentation, including nursing discharge instructions and medication instruction. You just have to print it, search from the database according to your patient's situation. Just click enter, print, give it to your patient, or if not print, you send it to your patient through his contacts. Monitoring devices that record vital signs and other measurements directly into the client record. So maybe for example, this monitors, okay, with the vital signs easily seen through a monitor and directly recorded to your patient's documentation. Okay, so you don't have to manually check unless it is required, okay, to really physically assess your patient. Because accuracy also comes with that human to human interaction. Okay. Computer generated nursing care plans and critical pathways. Okay, that's what I mentioned earlier. So when you say critical pathways, we also, to simplify it, is how are you going to manage a certain problem, okay, or disease of a patient. Okay, so computer system with nursing and patient care data. That's one of its implications here. And nursing care plans again are no longer separated from a hospital information system, but rather it's already integrated and it's already recorded in electronic health records. Okay, it's already in the database. But of course, as a nurse and as a nursing student, you need to have still good foundation of these concepts. It's not that because it's already when I graduate, it's already digitalized, it's already present, it's already given database. You just teach us how to manipulate the database, and that's it. No, and of course you need to study the foundations. You need to study fundamentals, charting, documentation, okay, the different diseases, how they are treated, and everything, okay, before you translate into nursing informatics. Also, other related applications in the nursing practice is billing, okay, hospital bills, when it comes to supplies, procedures, charting on the part of the nurse. That's somehow synonymous with documentation. Then access to patient data, then online drug information. Okay, of course, when you medicate, when you administer medications, one of the basic expectations from a nurse is you are familiar, okay, or if not, is maybe you have the mastery on drugs. Next, that would be nursing administration. Okay, so these are for nurses who is on the who has administrative positions. Okay, for example, nurse supervisors, okay, chief nurse, nurse managers. Okay, so you are tasked to do staff scheduling. Okay, um, what else? Filling of shifts. For example, this when you say online bidding for unfilled shifts, for example, you are going to be flexible on this date. You're going to ask, there are open dates. Who wants to have their duty on the morning shift? Who wants to have their duty on the PM shift? Who wants to have on night shift? Who wants to take this off and change with this date? Okay, so that's online bidding for unfilled shift. It's still part of scheduling. Electronic mails for improved communication with co-administrators or with the nurses. Okay, cost analysis, because that's one of your tasks as a nurse manager, as a nurse supervisor. You will be asked to contribute in terms of investments. Okay, whether it's supplies, equipment, trainings, okay, quality assurance and outcome analysis, patient tracking, and placement for case management. So here we're talking about policies, procedures, manuals, which can be accessed and retrieved through the computer. Okay? And the internet is also being used by nurse supervisors or by nurses to access different resources for better administration in a certain hospital. Okay, and better dealings with your staff, and of course, ultimately to the patient. Okay, outcomes of patient care. Then letter C, nursing education. Okay, I know we can relate to this, especially in our situation right now, and the way I am giving my discussion. Okay, first is online course registration and scheduling. If schools have their learning management systems and or your what you call your CS, your database in schools, whether it's on your registrar or whoever holds the database, the records in a certain school. Okay, so we have your online course registration, scheduling, computerized student tracking and grade management, and for the in part of teachers and also the students, computer assisted instructions, course delivery and support for web-based education, just like what I am doing, using this internet for discussions, delivery of my lectures, and also web-based education through the learning management system. Okay, then you have your remote access to library. Um, what else? Teleconference or teleconferencing using the different what's this application? Live streaming applications. Presentation software for preparing slides and handouts. One good example here is of software is the Google Documents or Google Docs, which we can manipulate through the web, and whoever has the link, you may have an access of it and edit it and return it and pass it to and fro, okay, from one person to another or a group of people. Okay, this is very important. And of course, the presence of emails. Okay, so with this, of course, we can what's this? Distance education, online education, flexible education is possible. Okay, of course, computer systems are available, provided that you have internet, because that's very important. Um, Everything is digital through the internet, through the softwares, and you can we can teach courses via the internet. We can communicate with you, okay, via chat, via email. What else? And of course, live classroom, just like what I've said, via the computer and the different streaming applications. then online test administration, and of course, yan, um, communication with students is possible. Okay. Okay. Maybe one downside here is teachers become 24/7, okay, in communicating, especially if students are sometimes forget what time it is, and because of their activities, maybe some are pressured or worried, and whatever hour is in the night, they'll message their teacher, and teachers can be considered at times, but of course students are also asked to be considerate as well. And thank you for my considerate students. Okay. The nursing research, computerized literature searching, okay, or meaning um, researching different resources becomes more possible. Okay. Adoption of standardized language related to nursing terms. Okay. That's in other words, that's your keywords in researching. Okay, I know you have finished your research during your junior and senior high school, and you are aware with the word keywords when you do your abstract, right? The last part of your abstract are keywords, especially if you want to publish it online. Okay, the ability to find trends in data, aggregate data, which is data derived from a large population group that can be used to your own research, that is helpful to your own research, and use of the internet also for obtaining data collection tools and conducting research. Then collaborate with other nurse researchers. Okay, this is very easy in terms of the use of internet, the use of emails. Okay, you can collaborate, you can coordinate, you can ask assistance, you can ask um, for this, uh, for you to be assisted, facilitated in your nursing research works. Okay, sometimes you can also, except for internet, you can gather data. Okay, and computers are very important to be used to analyze nursing data in terms of the different softwares. I'm not sure of what softwares you use during your high school days, but just to give, okay, of the statisticals or statistics that has research, technological translation. Of course, you have your ANOVA, you have your T-test, okay, which also have applications, software applications. Okay, for example, we have SPSS, okay. That's one of the most sought applications in research in any sector. Okay, so this is our discussion in the benefits, applications, and ways nursing informatics have changed the healthcare setting and different fields of nursing. I hope you learned something, and see you in the next video lecture. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more discussions. Thank you, take care, and God bless.